Mamas, and welcome to the Whole Wellness Mamas Summit, where we're unlocking the healthiest and joy-filled mom in you using strategies from various wellness and parenting experts. I'm your host, Amy Nesbitt, and I am super excited to discuss how to take obtainable action without overwhelm with Danielle Ralston. She has been an ADHD coach for 25 years and counting, and she has worked with over 1,500 ADHD, ASD, and divergent brains between the ages of 10 all the way to 70. She understands the science of how brains work because she wasn't going to let ADHD run her life and hold her back from being remarkable. So she continues to train and be certified in new protocols for the ADHD brain so that she can offer her clients the best support as possible as science catches up to coaching. So welcome, Danielle.
Thank you for having me, Amy.
Oh, I'm so excited to chat about this. For those that are meeting you for the first time, can you share your story of how you came to where you are now?
So, sure. So I am from a very rural area of New York. So when I was first diagnosed, I was actually diagnosed as mentally retarded.
Mm.
Late 70s, girls didn't have ADHD, and I didn't. And even just with that, I also had learning disabilities. So they really didn't know what to do with me. So they stuck me in the back of a classroom until that one teacher came along when I was 12. So I wasn't writing, I wasn't reading, I wasn't speaking very much until I was almost 12. Um, though you put me in musical theater and I was fantastic. I could sing on stage and have my lines memorized, but wasn't talking other than that because I didn't understand social cues, which I'll get to in a minute. But it took until I was 12 to get that one teacher who, by the end of school year, from February, and it was February 17th, that was because it was my bestie's birthday, February 17th through the end of school year, she had me working above grade level. Wasn't because I didn't have a good brain. It was that nobody ever packaged things for me in a way that made sense to me or even tried to make sense of my brain for me. She took me from nothing to everything. And my first book that I wrote was dedicated to her because that woman is the most amazing person ever. She's also my son's godmother. So she's very much a part of my family. And fast forward to having super success. I was an overachiever all the way through high school. College was not good. I hated college. If the first time through, I hated it. I dropped out. I didn't even last 2 months, I don't think, because it just didn't make sense to me. It was too much. It was overwhelming. So I got married. I had multiple jobs. I started my own business and just went about life. And then I had a child. At this point, I have an IT company I'm running with my bestie. Him and I were doing all the things, and I lost a $12.5 million client. My life was a disaster. My business was a disaster. Everything was a disaster. Turns out my entirely chaotic toddler was autistic
Mm.
and ADHD. And I'm filling out all the forms for him going, wait, this is me. Oh, wait, this is me. Wait, am I autistic? No, I can't be. At that point, my son was not communicating. He was melting down all the time. He was that very atypical, what you think of as autistic. But I'm filling out this form going, this is me.
Mm.
Like every one of these things is me. So the doctor, being as awesome as he was, had never met an autistic woman at that point and dove into full testing. My son did not get tested until 3 months later, mind you, because he dove into testing me. And yes, I actually placed fairly high in the scale in the fact that I wasn't verbal until I was 12. It's because I was autistic. And nobody ever there were no dots to put together because women, not autistic. Our version of and our view of autism in women is Temple Grandin, and she is very socially awkward. I mean, you know that she's autistic when you're speaking to her. I was not like that. I was very social. I loved being on stage. I loved talking to people. Yeah, I was ASD. Um, I decided to go back to college because I had to learn everything about my brain because reading, there wasn't enough books yet for me to do that. So I went back to college, got my degree in psychology, didn't like the rules that went with that. So never became a therapist because ew. But then discovered coaching and realized that that's what I did. I had a whole entire team of ASD, autistic ADHD, otherwise neurodiverse IT guys that I worked with. And I was coaching them on how to eat well, keep a house, deal with having a wife, understand how to ask about a woman out on a date. All of these, I was coaching people. I was coaching my clients, I was coaching my team, I was coaching everyone around me. And then I discovered coaching, and that's where I've been ever since. My son is now 26, married, is living a very successful life, and here I am.
I love that. I love your story because, oh, so many of us can relate, right? Of, oh, we didn't know those things before. And I know you touched on this in your story, but can you kind of elaborate on when you learned and what was your reaction where you were like, "Oh, that's me."
It was actually really validating to me
Mm,
because my brain did not operate like everybody else's. Even I now have 4 master's degrees in all of this time. I went back to school even before that, got another degree in computer science and then marketing. And because I had to learn all the things and I love to learn, but I didn't like the structure of a school situation to learn that didn't work for me. So I did find alternative ways to do that. But all through these things, I'm like, my brain does not work like anybody else's. I don't communicate like everybody else. I mask very well, and I can handle that in small situations, but I can't do it long term because then I fall apart and I burn out and I get exhausted. And I was building business by the time I was 26. I built 7 businesses, failed massively and epically at 4 of them. 3 of them built to multi-million-dollar businesses and sold them because didn't want to keep going.
mm.
I got bored so easily. I couldn't, doing one thing at a time is too much. Right now, I own 3 businesses, just so y'all know. I still don't do one thing at a time. And, but learning that that was okay,
Mm.
finding acceptance to how my brain worked and understanding this is why I was the way I was. This is why I couldn't figure out how to take care of myself. I could take care of other people just fine, but I could not take care of myself. And understanding that there were reasons for that and that it was okay.
Can you tell us about your journey to embrace it? Because I'm guessing you weren't embracing it from the very beginning, even if it was an aha of, "Oh, I just think differently from other people." But was there kind of this journey that you went through to
It
say,
took
"No,
me, my journey was maybe a week. So because at that point I was so different. And my husband and I were fighting all the time, and all of it, like nothing made sense. Everything was horrible. And I had a toddler who was out of control, who didn't eat, who didn't sleep. This child did not sleep until he was 6 years old.
ah!"
And I had lost a $12.5 million client. Everything was falling apart around me. And I'm like trying to figure out how to fix it. How do I fix it? How do I fix it? Because it was all my fault. I thought it was all my fault. Some of it was. I mean, some of it was definitely my fault because my chaos was causing chaos to everything and everyone. But I was consistently burning out and getting major illnesses. And when I say major illnesses, I've had 3 bouts of cancer. I have horrible autoimmune issues, which is very typical for somebody on the spectrum. On the neurodiverse spectrum, I mean, because we have POTS and we have Daniels and we have allergies and all kinds of things that go with all of that. But getting that information just was like it was the missing glue to all the puzzle pieces that were me that I could never put together. And even if I was kind of sort of trying to force them together by knowing it was ADHD, there was still something missing holding the pieces together. And I went from 0 to 60 in a week. I don't think I slept for a week. Internet was still fairly new. It was still dial up, and you had AOL. You bought the discs at Walmart to get your minutes for AOL. Yes, I'm showing my age. And I had a toddler who didn't sleep anyway, and I was reading every book. And within that week, uh, Carol Stock Kranowitz spoke at a local college. I drove, I think, like 3 hours to get to this woman because she talked about having an out of sync child. That's what I had. Somebody please explain to me how to deal with this kid. And only 4 people showed up. So, and it was bad weather. I live in Western New York. So it was bad weather. I'm sure the weather had something to do with it, but it was the greatest thing ever because this woman was trapped by me for hours.
It was like a one-on-one session.
It was the greatest thing ever. But and she's definitely on the spectrum herself because she info dumped everything in her head out to me. It was the greatest thing ever. And I bought her book and I like everything just made sense. And something as simple as learning how to get myself out of overwhelm just made everything fall into place.
Mm.
Understanding that I can get out of overwhelm day to day, minute to minute, and then I can take obtainable action from getting out of that overwhelm was a huge part of, again, putting the glue together to bring all these puzzle pieces in. And it took, like I said, a 0 to 60 in a week. I don't think I slept for 2 weeks straight. It was fine. Everything was fine. Everything's fine. I swear, everything's fine. That was my key phrase until my son was like 6. But it made so much sense.
Mm. So if some people are going, yeah, yeah, and resonating with you and resonating with the overwhelm and not being able to get out of it, or perhaps they have kids, like you were saying, that you don't know how to help them. How can we start? Can we give them
The,
steps to encourage and
yes.
support?
One thing I'm going to tell you is I want you to plan your day. And you're like, oh, yeah, another person's going to tell me to use a planner. I don't care what planner you use. I don't care how you write it down. I want you to plan your day. And when you're looking at planning your day, the first thing that goes on that time block schedule or whatever you're going to use is taking care of your body.
Mm.
How are you taking care of you? I don't care if you have a newborn. I don't care if you have anybody else. You have to have at least 30 minutes a day of taking care of you. Find the next door neighbor, find the mom down the street who's going to understand. Hand the baby to your husband when he walks in the door at night, your boyfriend, your girlfriend. I don't care. Get 30 minutes to yourself a day. And you're going to do 3 things. You're going to lay on the ground if it's warm enough and dry enough outside. Go outside and lay on the ground. And you're like, why? It is the most soothing thing ever. And you're going to lay there. And like you're going to do a snow angel, even if there's no snow, you're going to spread eagle, arms out, legs out, and you're going to breathe for 2 minutes. That's it. If you are an overwhelmed mom, go lay on the ground. And if it's yucky outside, this will work on your carpet. It doesn't work as quickly. You need more like 5 minutes, but you can decrease your overwhelm. And if your child is screaming bloody murder and throwing things or whatever, get yourself noise cancellation earplugs and put them in for that 30 minutes.
Because they come from mama a lot of the time. Mm-hmm.
Lock the door to the bedroom. Lock yourself in a closet. And if you can't spread eagle, it may take a few more minutes, but go for it. Find the quiet spot in your house and give yourself 30 minutes. So 5 minutes of that at most. Then I want you to go take a shower. And it doesn't have to be an everything shower. Sometimes the thought of raising your arms over your head and washing your hair is just too much. I don't care. Just stand in the water. Sit in the water. Sit on the floor in the shower and sit in the water. It doesn't matter. Water is soothing, water is grounding, and the sound soothes our nervous systems. Like I said, I don't care if soap is involved in the process at all. Soap is for good days. We don't always have good days. It's fine. At least you're rinsing the stink off of you a little bit in the baby spit.
That's right.
It's fine. And then I want you to go eat something. Eat something without a child in your arms. Turn that whatever you're listening to drown out the kids screaming and pulling at you or whatever, turn that podcast up loud, that murder podcast, that smutty novel that you're listening to, that Metallica, turn it up all the way so you can't hear nothing. And sit down and eat. And I don't care if it's a Pop-Tart or a Snickers bar. You would do better for your body if you're eating something semi-healthy-ish. But I don't care what you're eating. Put something in your body. You are going to feel like a different person. Now, If you have teenagers and you're like the overwhelm is work, you get too many tasks at work, you have a day job or a business, you got too many tasks going on, and the kids are yelling and fighting and all of that. I want you to give yourself 15-minute breaks, three to five times a day. Do any one of those things I just told you. Any one of them. Block out the noise while doing any one of them. Give your nervous system and your eardrums a break. Because you will start to feel better when you do that. When we start to feel better, we don't scream at the kids for having the fights. We don't scream at the husband for looking at you wrong and picking up the wrong toilet paper at the store. We don't scream at, like, we're not in that constant state of panic, because that's what you are in when you're overwhelmed. You're in the constant state of panic and you can't take action. Now, obtainable action is slightly different. It's understanding what your energy level is for the day. How much energy do we have today? Is today a bare minimum day that sit on the floor in the shower and just get wet? Or is today an everything shower day? Where is your energy level? Don't decide on Monday what your whole entire week is going to look like with all the 5,000 tasks every day that we put on our lists, and expect yourself to be able to do it all and then beat yourself up for not doing it all. Evaluate yourself in the morning. If getting out of bed isn't I really have to get out of bed. I really have to get out of bed. I don't want to get out of bed. I don't want to talk to anybody. I really have to get out of bed. If that's the start of your day, it's a minimum day. If you're like, oh, I can't wait for XYZ, and you're out of bed and getting ready and whatever the best day ever looks like for you, great. Plan on doing 10,000 tasks, because those are your days that you're going to have massive action in your day. Understand what your energy level is, because when you understand what your energy level is and accept your energy level and operate and take obtainable action within your energy level, you don't burn out. You don't get overwhelmed as much. We don't have as much shame. We don't have as much frustration. And we actually move the needle ahead. Because when we're in that overwhelm, fight, panic mode, we actually don't accomplish as much.
Like several things resonated deeply with me. One is I love laying on the ground, especially I think this was really eye-opening for me in the pandemic when we were both, my husband and I were both working from home, right? And the kids were doing school from home and all that stuff. And when I was about to yell, I was just like, Mama just needs some time. And I just laid down right there in front of them, took deep breaths, and it does wonders. I was like, okay, I don't want to yell at my children. They're not trying to be horrible human beings. They just don't know how to deal with their emotions. I'm not showing up the way I want to. Let me just ah. So that deeply, deeply resonated with me. And the figuring out where you are that day, I love that, because we often do know, right, what kind of day it's going to be. And not that we want it to become that kind of day where the tone is set from the beginning, but knowing and giving ourselves the grace to not do a million things that day. And like you were saying, then beat ourselves up for not getting the million and one things done from what we set out for ourselves. Yeah, the grace for ourselves and truly figuring out what we need and what we can do that day.
When you're a mom, your most important job is taking care of yourself. Your second most important job is taking care of your children, and your third is your husband, your spouse, husband, boyfriend, whatever it is. Do you notice how far down that list they are? We tend to be the major caretakers, but we can't take care of other people if we aren't taking care of ourselves. And then we feel guilty if we do.
Mhm.
And taking care of yourself doesn't have to be a $500 spa day. it could be 30 minutes laying on the ground outside, getting away from everybody and all the noise. It could literally be that. That is self-care. Sitting on the floor of your shower fully clothed is also self-care.
Yeah, this is my big thing for moms, right? And such a passion of finding things that bring moms joy, not as mom, not as wife, not as daughter, not as employee, whatever the other roles we have are, but we need to get in touch with what we enjoy and what we used to enjoy. Maybe that has changed in motherhood, and that's okay too if it's not the same thing you used to like before. But to be able to take some time for ourselves and do those things is so important.
Finding joy is the other part of this, and I didn't get into that, but do things you love.
Yeah,
My One of my coaches on my team, she hula hoops to get out of overwhelm.
I love
When
that.
she's overwhelmed, she goes in hula hoops. She has a bubble machine. Her children are teenagers. They roll their eyes at her, but she has a bubble machine that she'll set up in her office, and it just brings her so much joy and calms her down.
Uh-huh.
Um, I wear I'm a huge Star Wars geek. So I have all kinds of Star Wars Mickey Mouse ears and Star Wars toys in my office. And I listen to the entrance music to Galaxy's Edge to calm me down when I'm
Love
overwhelmed.
it.
I have fidgets on my desk. My nieces gave me cute Easter ones, but I always have fidgets on my desk and I have slime on my desk. And it's understanding that what brings you joy, what is going to bring you happiness, what is going to bring those cortisol levels down, increase your dopamine, endorphins. Is it taking a walk? Is it playing in Play-Doh? Is it making a mess in your kitchen and having a food fight with your kids? Did you know you could do that? Yes, the mess will be there to clean up later, but everybody in the family can help clean up too.
Yeah. And moving our bodies, right? And getting that energy out. And there's so many great things. There's so many great ways we can do it. And I think you made the point that it doesn't have to be this big, long thing. I know you said take 30 minutes to yourself, but are you okay with people doing short increments? Like,
Oh yeah. When they're little, you're most likely to be able to do just one 30-minute spot a day, and handing a baby to the husband, boyfriend, whoever, as they walk in, or grandma as she walks in, and just being able to take 30 minutes is a more doable thing. Again, obtainable. What's obtainable for you in the moment. As your kids are a little bit bigger, even 2, 3, 4 years old, getting 15 minutes here, 15 minutes there, absolutely doable. Though be careful of the silent, no noise children, because that's always,
absolutely.
you do have to have an ear open when they're in that stage. But as they age, I actually, so my son is grown and gone now. I take 15 minutes every 2 hours
Mm. I love that. Like
because
a,
I do get overwhelmed easily.
yeah.
If I don't take care of myself, I will end up sick by the end of the week if I'm never giving myself the breaks that I need. And my breaks today, I was so frustrated. I own a marketing agency, and of course, Facebook and Instagram were down today. So that caused epic levels of stress. My breaks today, where I sat, it was raining out, so I couldn't go outside. So I sat in front of my back door and I just stared at the rain. I opened the door up a little bit, trying not to get wet, and I just sat there and stared at the rain. That was my break today. It doesn't have to, like I said, it doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just give your body a break.
Mhm. I love that. And how have you seen your courage to share your story and kind of share your journey and help others along the way? How have you seen the benefits for you and for those around you?
Oh, oh my gosh. The benefits to me, I learn so much from my clients every single day. I've picked up all kinds of tips and tricks over the years from all of them. And I've been doing this 25 years now. So at this point, I'm almost 50. Uh, and I love talking to my clients. And as being neurodivergent, again, I can't ever do one thing. By talking to, I think I have a total of 130 clients between my private practice and a company I work for. Uh, and so I'm talking to 130 people a week. that's the greatest thing ever for my neurodivergent brain. And I'm learning from all of them, which sends me down reading many books that I never would have read before. I'm reading stuff by Sarah J. Maas now, which I'm not very much a romance sci-fi person, but these books are awesome.
Oh my gosh, we
Um,
need to have another conversation because
yes,
I got sucked
the
into.
ACOTAR books,
Yeah, and then
fantastic.
I read all of them now.
I just read the ACOTAR series, so now I'm reading the Throne of
Throne of
Glass
Glass.
series. Awesome. Um, I'm getting there. But those are things I wouldn't have done because I'm so focused on business all the time that I'm always reading informational books. And now I've got my Kindle is stuffed with all kinds of other stuff. But I've learned somatic breathing practices. I have a somatic healing client. I've learned so much from her so that I went and got somatic healing certified because it was so interesting. And then I got EMDR certified. And then I learned from somebody every day. And by helping clients, I'm often healing the things that I didn't have when I needed them. I have a client right now who is a 14-year-old girl who every time I can help her realize something or accept something about herself or do something, that's what I needed at 14. And nobody gave that to me. And that is one of the most powerful things that I could ever do for somebody else is give them what I didn't have.
Oh, I absolutely love that. I love hearing people's stories because we all go through hard things. We all go through things that we wish were different, but to be able to then share that story and to impact so many other lives as a result of sharing that. And I love that. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you for letting me share today.
Well, we like to end by giving everyone a quick action or challenge because there's so much to take in throughout what we were discussing, but we like to leave people with one quick challenge that they can do today. Do you have a challenge for our moms?
Lay on the floor for 3 minutes and breathe and block out the noise around you. It may require multiple pillows and noise canceling headphones and all kinds of things if you have real littles. But maybe it's you wait until everybody goes to bed at night and do it. Give your body that complete and total break. Outside in the ground is even better if you can, but the floor in your living room, bathroom, bedroom, wherever is also fantastic. Give yourself 3 to 5 minutes. You are going to see a huge change in being able to sleep if you do it at night. Your attitude throughout the day if you do it during the day. It's one of the most simple things to do, but it can be life changing if you keep it up and make it a habit.
Love that. It's simple, like you said, but it's impactful. And I know you also have
Extremely.
a fantastic freebie for everyone. Can you share what that is?
So my freebie is I have a course. It was pre-recorded with a whole entire group, but it's available to watch as you have time. It is called Distraction to Action. How to take all of the distractions that get to us, figure out how your brain can work in those distractions, and then be able to take action. Whether you're a stay-at-home mom, own your own business, or have a corporate job.
I love it. And you also have a fantastic bonus for those that upgrade to the VIP pass, right? Which is 30 minutes with you. Can you share what people can expect from that thing?
So you will fill out a quick form, and yes, the form asks if you're willing to invest. Put NA in there. I don't care because I don't want to create a new link because then I create too many links and my scheduling gets crazy. So um, that 30 minutes is we come in. I ask you some questions of what you're struggling with. What are you overwhelmed with? What is the thing that you want to change about your life by the end of our session today? And we dive into a full 30-minute coaching session for absolute free. Normally that's $150. So it's $150 value for 30 minutes with me. And I will be, I love doing sessions like that because quick hits are always fun. Quick hits are good sometimes.
And to be able to talk through these things, right, for in 30 minutes. That's amazing. That is a no-brainer, people. So go grab that VIP pass because not only do you get 30 minutes with Danielle, you get all these videos forever so you can keep coming back to them, as well as other amazing speaker bonuses. So the links are in your email and below this video. Anything else you want to share with our moms before we wrap up?
If you're struggling to create habits, if you're struggling to create new things, there are three things I want you to know. One, you could do it your own way. Two, you don't have to create a habit that is this massive, huge habit that you have to change and has to be changed by the end of the year. Get rid of that BS and start taking micro, tiny little steps in your habits that are obtainable for you throughout the day, because you do not need to make massive changes to have lasting, lifelong effects in your life.
Great reminder. Thank you, Danielle, for sharing just practical steps that we can get rid of that overwhelm, and for sharing your story of how we're all different in different ways, but yet we can embrace that, make them superpowers for ourselves, and that's a journey that we want to be alongside you for. So as always, friends, drop your questions in the Facebook group. We want to journey with you, like I just said. Let us know how the challenge went, and we'll see you back for amazing summit speakers.